Hello, welcome to Celtic Crossroads from KILT Studios. I'm your presenter, Kenton Adler, Director of Advancement for Scottish Heritage at Lyon College in Batesville, Arkansas. Join me now as we explore an hour of music and story from all corners of the Celtic world. Our show is made possible in part by the Campbell Collection, a generous gift from the estate of the Duke of Earl, the late Robert Louis Campbell of Earl, Arkansas. The collection consists of music and literature now housed in the archives of the Lyon College Mabie Simpson Library, and by the Lyon College Scottish Heritage Program. Welcome to the program. It's hard to believe it's already the start of meteorological summer. As a former meteorologist, I approve. We've got a poem about halfway through the program that will reflect on summer, and we're going to start things off today with our friend Misty Posey from her debut album and a rendition of Scarborough Fair. You're listening to Celtic Crossroads, coming to you from Kilt Studios on the campus of Lyon College. I'm Kenton Adler. That was Banal with a walking song, and I will not even attempt to butcher the Gaelic on that one, but I will make a point to write it out and put it on the Facebook page in our playlist. Prior to that, we heard from Ewan Henderson, his album Learshin, which means perception, and the tune was Cathkin Park. Just before that, we heard Alistair McQuish and the Black Rose Cayley Band from their album Stepping Out with the Panda, and we started things off with Misty Posey and a version of Scarborough Fair. And now we're going to hear a slow air and jig set from piper Colin McClellan and the World's Greatest Pipers Volume 11. This consists of Cúirchin's Lullaby, The Rakes of Kildare, and The Old Wife of the Milldust.
Can you stand the silence that pervades when we all cry? How can you watch the violence that erupts before your eyes? You can't even grab a hold of when we're hanging oh so loose. You don't even listen to us. When we talk, it ain't no use. Leave your thoughtlessness behind you. Then you may begin to understand. Cleave the emptiness around you with the waving of your hand. That was a wonderful remark. I had my eyes closed in the dark. I sighed a million sighs. I told a million lies to myself. To myself. Oh, oh, listen to you when we know that your talk is cheap? How can we never question why we give more and you keep? How can your empty laughter fill a room like ours with joy when you're only playing with us like a child does with a toy? How can we ever feel the freedom or the flame lit by the spark? How can we ever come out evil when reality is stark? That was a wonderful remark. I had my eyes closed in the dark. I saw a million sides, I told a million lies to myself, to myself. Oh, 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 oh. Listen, how can you tell us something just to keep us hanging on? Yeah. Something that just don't mean nothing. When we see you, you are gone, clinging to some other rainbow, while we're standing waiting outside in the cold, telling us the same sad story, knowing time is growing old. Touch your world up with some color, dream you're swinging on a star, taste it first then add some flavor. Now you know it's who you are. That was a wonderful remark. Yeah. I had my eyes closed in the dark. I saw a million sides. Oh yeah. I told a million lies to myself. Oh yeah. To myself. Oh, 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 wonderful remark. And that was a wonderful remark. Yes, it was. Right on. I have my eyes closed in the dark. Right on. I saw a million sides. I told a million lies to myself. All right. To myself. oh, 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 oh.
Right-o. That was Van Morrison from the album The Philosopher's Stone with Wonderful Remark. Before that, we heard Dervish from Playing with Fire and Buckley's Fancy, and we started things off with Colin McClellan performing a slow air and jig set. We're going to go now to a poem that reflects a bit on summer. Summer by John Clare. Come we to the summer we will come. For the woods are full of bluebells and the hedges full of bloom. And the crow is on the oak a building of her nest, and love is burning diamonds in my true lover's breast. She sits beneath the white thorn, a plaiting of her hair, and I will to my true lover with a fond request repair. I will look upon her face, I will in her beauty rest, and lay my aching weariness upon her lovely breast. The clock o' clay is creeping on the open bloom of May. The merry bee is trampling the pinky threads all day, and the chaffinch it is brooding on its grey mossy nest, in the white thorn bush where I will lean upon my lover's breast. I'll lean upon her breast, and I'll whisper in her ear, that I cannot get a wink o' sleep for thinking of my dear. I hunger at my meat, and I daily fade away, like the hedge rose that is broken in the heat of the day.
Been on one bright March morning, I bid New Orleans adieu. I took the road to Jacksontown, my fortune to renew. I cursed all foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled my heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board of a railroad car beneath the morning sun, and I rode the rods till evening, then laid me down again. No friends to me, all strangers, till the dark girl towards me came, and I fell in love with a Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I said, my pretty Creole girl, my money's no good. If it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the wood. You're welcome here, kind stranger. Our house is very plain, but we never turned a stranger out on the banks of Pontchartrain. She took me to her mammy's house and treated me right well. The hair upon her shoulders in long dark ringlets fell. To try to paint her beauty, I'm sure that would be in vain. So handsome was my Creole girl by the lakes upon Chitrain. I asked her if she'd marry me, and that could never be, for she had got a lover, and he was far at sea, and she vowed that she would wait for him, and true she would remain. So constant was the Creole girl by the lakes upon Chitrain. So fare thee well, my bonny young girl, I never will see you more. But I'll ne'er forget your kindness in the cottage by the shore, and at each social gathering a flowing glass I'll drain, and I'll drink a health to my Creole girl by the lakes on Chitrain.
Long, long time they've worked together through wind and weather, side by side. Honest toil for those who need them, who keep and feed them from the soil. But when the working day is over, Samson dreams of running free, of jumping fences and flying like the wind. Delilah knows to let him be. Day by day they haul and carry, no time to tarry, such a heavy load. Speed the plow and guide the harrow, straight as an arrow, and down that road. But when the working day is over, Delilah dreams of running free, of chasing rainbows and of dancing on the sand. Samson knows to let her be. Light and steel serve to remind us that love and kindness show the way. Blood and bone have finer fettle than oil and metal, come what may. And now the working day is over, both can dream of running free, of quiet shelter and blazing in the sun, and all the world will let them be.
I'm Kent Adler, and this is Celtic Crossroads. After the poem, we heard from the album Man in the Moon by Andy M. Stewart, a rendition of The Lakes of Pontchartrain. Then we heard from Breda Campbell and her album Carry Them With Us with Fafun Gun Bitrom, which means I am disposed of mirth. After that, we heard from Chris Rogers, and the album is called Gentle Giants, a celebration of the Clydesdale horse and song and Samson's Dream. Now let's give a listen to Ian McInnes from his album Tryst with a medley entitled Miss Ferguson. I'm Kent Nadler. You've been listening to Celtic Crossroads. We just closed out the program with the Lyon College Pipe Band from our Live at the Ron Robinson Theater album, with a set consisting of The Clumsy Lover and Dr. Donald Weatherman's Welcome to Lyon College. That's a tune that was written by Jimmy Bell when Dr. Weatherman became the president of Lyon College, and we'd like to dedicate this program to him in honor of his birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Weatherman. We hope we see you all here again next time at the Crossroads.